I remember when the Paid in Full soundtrack / Roc-A-Fella album came out. It was like a double disc album, and that was the first time that it was the We Are the Champions record. Yeah, and the way Dame brought you in on that record was so legendary, and you just came. You caught a fucking body, and I think I might have saw it was like maybe a video of you or something in Chicago getting the Roc-A-Fella chain put on you.
It wasn't Chicago.
It was somewhere. It was on stage though, right?
Yeah, it was on stage. Yeah. It was that was a dope vibe right there. Shout out to the homie Dame.
Yeah. How did talk about how your relationship with Roc-A-Fella started?
Just early on, a little bit of everything. I would say Kanye, Dame, and Jay, all in some form or fashion, just had something to do with me being involved with Roc-A-Fella. Of course, Jay, with him being who he is and us doing what we did with Is That Your Chick, popping tags, records like that. Yep. And then, of course, Ye having that vibe and bringing me along in that whole vibe. And then even with that vibe with like Dame with the Champions joint. So
yeah, that shit was crazy.
Everybody, I was cool with all of them.
Did you have a relationship with Kanye first because of the Chicago shit, or did you guys not really like have a relationship outside, but before he became Kanye West per se?
No, we was already cool.
You was already cool.
Yeah. We didn't kick it a lot or nothing like that, but we always was around each other, especially on the music scene, in Chicago. So yeah, we was cool.
Yeah, it's crazy because you mentioned Is That Your Chick and popping tags. Those are some crazy joints, crazy features. Is That Your Chick is like, I think that's one of those records that gets forgotten in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like we forgot.
I be rocking that joint.
That joint is fucking crazy. Shows,
I be rocking that
joint.
Oh,
that shit is a classic.
Man, that's my joint.
I think it's the hardest Memphis Bleak record. That shit.
Okay.
Shout out to Bleak, but that's
shout out to the homie Bleak.
So originally, what made you decide to go to rock? I mean, obviously at the time it probably wasn't hard to make the Roc-A-Fella decision because it's the hardest crew in hip hop at the moment, right?
Yeah, we was rocking. Yeah, I was loving it. That whole vibe to be around that team at that time period was definitely a plus. And then to be vibing with them was a whole nother thing. So it was cool. Yeah.
What was give me like a Roc-A-Fella story, man. One that like just being around that era, being around Hove during that time, something that we like people might not know, just like a crazy experience that you had back then.
Just always weirded out at Jay's prediction ability, how he would look up and say, that Slow Jams was gonna be a hit, and then it would happen, and then like me writing Is This the End, that song with P. Diddy.
Yep.
And when I did that song and walking in a room with Jay and P. Diddy chopping it up, and we started talking about the Is This the End joint, and I remember how I was doing that joint. I was faded writing that joint, so like real faded.
Right.
And I had some good weed that I never had before. So I wrote that joint and everything, so we was in there talking about it, and Jay was looking at me, he just looked and said, you was high when you wrote that, wasn't you? So it was but it was strange because I was real high when I wrote that. So for some reason about the flow, he knew I was